Bizarre footage. A Russian APC literally rushed into a Ukrainian tank from the 17th Separate Tank Brigade, which blows the APC to pieces from point-blank range. It is inexplicable why the Russian transport simply ran into the Ukrainian tank, but the simplest explanation is that it simply did not see it. Part of the crew escaped from the transport, but surely others remained in the steel tomb. It is also worth noting that one of the Russian soldiers is running straight towards the Ukrainian tank. It's probably disorientation, and maybe that soldier is captured, but this is an important reminder that tanks must have infantry support, and vice versa. It's very good to see what is going on in Ukraine from Russian perspective, especially from a Russian which is trying to be objective. Igor Strelkov just posted his longest essay from prison in a long time, and yes, it is full of good old doom. He even points to a strategic defeat by Russia as a result of the failure of the Kharkiv operation and losing ground in Kursk despite gaining territory in the Donbass. The reporting is from Dmitry from War Translated. Overall, nothing unexpected, for me, happened on the front during the first 10 days of October. The enemy abandoned part of the Ugledar salient, which had become too difficult for them to defend due to the encirclement of their northern flank. Once again, the enemy withdrew on their own, without being defeated or, let alone, encircled. Now, the Ukrainians will consolidate a shorter front line to the northwest. In general, south of Donetsk, the enemy's main stronghold is Kurakovo and the Kurakovo fortified area. The Ukrainians will fight especially stubbornly for it because as long as it remains in their hands, the enemy retains a foothold for a strike on Donetsk, and they will keep this in mind for the future. Although at the moment, and since the start of the special military operation, they have viewed the Donetsk theater of military operations as secondary, where they only defend, and, in general, from a military perspective, they can't be faulted for that. There's very little time left before the autumn mud season begins, and it seems the summer-autumn campaign can be considered over. Some results can be summed up, although perhaps the Ukrainians may still pull something before the autumn storm season. Overall, the campaign ended in a draw from a military standpoint. The Russian armed forces were unable to create the so-called buffer zone in the Kharkiv region, or overcome the enemy's defense there. We failed to capture even the immediate objective of the offensive, Volchansk, and establish a stable foothold around it to threaten Kharkiv. On the other hand, over the summer, we advanced the front in the Donetsk direction by 20 to 25 kilometers, and, in some places, deeper, clearing a fairly large territory of the enemy. Meanwhile, the Ukrainian armed forces invaded the Kursk region, capturing Sudzha, a district center, effectively nullifying all our successes and creating a new, extensive area of armed confrontation. Thus, we have gained Ugledar and about 40 other settlements, while losing 1.5 districts in the Kursk region, now occupied by the enemy. The result is a tactical draw. However, this draw is only apparent. In reality, this summer-autumn, we, Russia, suffered a strategic military defeat. We failed to carry out the broad offensive towards Kharkiv, for which forces, resources, and reserves were being prepared for a year. And then we missed a not-so-powerful but very painful blow that brought ground combat onto our own territory. But, most importantly, we lost time. Time, which is now worth its weight in gold for both us and the so-called Ukraine, which, accordingly, won it. The enemy gained time to prepare additional forces and reserves, demonstrating the impossibility of achieving victory over them with the set of tools Russia can use in the framework of the special military operation without transitioning to full-scale war and complete mobilization to achieve victory. That is, over the summer-autumn campaign, the enemy achieved its goals. 1. Repelled our offensive with minimal territorial losses. 2. Delivered a strong counterstrike. 3. Preserved unused reserves for continued active defensive and offensive operations. 4. Maintained the belief in victory within their population and military. and readiness to endure hardships in hopes of it. Meanwhile, we, Russia, did not achieve our goals at all. 1. Our offensive on Kharkiv stalled, with very insignificant territorial gains. 2. Our offensive in the Donetsk People's Republic merely pushed the enemy's front without even coming close to breaking it. 3. Our reserves were spent on repelling the enemy's invasion of the Kursk region, which still hasn't been fully repelled after 2 months of heavy fighting. 4. What to do now with the enemy's army and the war in general, within the framework of the ongoing Special Military Operation Counter-Terrorist Operation, is completely unclear. If we dismiss the illusory hopes of the inhabitants of the planet of pink ponies for some sort of honorable compromise peace, settlement, etc. Unfortunately, only smart people learn from mistakes, even numerous and regularly repeated ones. The same cannot be said of our strategists. Despite the strategic failure of the campaign, no obvious conclusions have been drawn. Our leaders continue to chant that mobilization is not needed and will not be conducted. This leads to the disappointing conclusion that the insulting slap in the face near Kursk wasn't strong enough to dissipate even a bit of the pink fog in the minds of the inhabitants of the rainbow unicorns and ponies planet. Apparently, logic and military history teach us this. We will soon face new slaps that will make our priest jump to the ceiling. Alas, this is practically inevitable. How soon this will happen is hard to say. I don't have access to the GRU and SVR intelligence reports in IK5, but it's safe to assume that next year Belarus may be drawn into the war, and possibly Moldova as well. The participation of Poland and Romania is not excluded either, though I believe without a formal declaration of war. However, it's too early for New Year's predictions just yet. Let's wait. But it's safe to forecast that in the coming months, there will be an increasing number of drone and missile strikes across all regions of Russia, wherever the former respected Kiev partners, not mine, can reach. That's all for now. If this letter reaches you, please confirm receipt. I have no objections to its publication, if you deem it appropriate. With respect and gratitude, I've Girkin, October 12th, 2024, Kirovo-Chepetsk, IK5.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Every day. We had a guy last week, it's 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.